Did you see what she packed for Lily's lunch? Just a sandwich and an apple. What kind of mother does that? My mother-in-law's voice carried clearly through the kitchen window as I stood in the garden, frozen in place. She was talking to my sister-in-law, Amanda, probably thinking I couldn't hear them. I know, Amanda replied. And she's always working on her laptop while Lily does homework. No proper supervision at all. I gripped my gardening shears tighter, willing myself not to react. This wasn't the first time I'd overheard Margaret and Amanda criticizing my parenting, and it probably wouldn't be the last. My name is Emma Sullivan, and at 34, I'm apparently the worst mother in the world, at least according to my mother-in-law. I'd married her son David 5 years ago, becoming stepmom to then 7-year-old Lily. When David died in a car accident 2 years later, Margaret seemed to make it her life's mission to prove I was unfit to raise her granddaughter. I just don't understand why David didn't specify custody arrangements in his will, Margaret continued, her voice dripping with disapproval. Lily should be with real family, not someone who's practically a stranger. I quietly set down my gardening tools and walked inside through the front door, making sure to close it loudly enough for them to hear. The kitchen conversation immediately stopped. "Oh, Emma," Margaret plastered on her fake smile. "We were just discussing Lily's upcoming school play. Have you finished sewing her costume yet?" I met her gaze steadily. "The drama teacher is handling costumes this year, Margaret. As you'd know if you'd attended the parent meeting last week." Her smile tightened. Well, a proper mother would want to make her child's costume herself. Before I could respond, Lily bounded down the stairs, her long brown hair flying behind her. At 12, she was the perfect mix of her dad's quiet intelligence and an emerging confidence that sometimes surprised me. "Mom, can I show you something?" She clutched her beloved journal to her chest, eyes shining with excitement. "Of course, sweetheart." I followed her upstairs, grateful for the escape. Lily's room was her sanctuary, walls covered with her artwork and photographs. She sat cross-legged on her bed, patting the space beside her. "I wrote something new. Would you read it?" This was our ritual. Every few days, Lily would share pieces of her writing with me. Sometimes stories, sometimes poems, sometimes just her thoughts about life. I'd always encouraged her to express herself through writing, especially after losing her dad. "I'd love to." I sat beside her as she handed me her journal, open to a fresh page. "Dear Dad," it began. "Mom and I planted your favorite sunflowers today. She says they're like tiny suns, reaching up to say hello to you." I think she's right. My throat tightened as I read. Lily had been writing letters to David in her journal for months now, processing her grief in her own way. Each one was beautiful and heartbreaking and full of hope. "It's beautiful, Lily," I said when I finished reading. "Your dad would love it." She beamed at me. Do you think I could write more? Like, maybe a whole book of letters?" "I think that's an amazing idea." I pulled her close, breathing in the familiar scent of her strawberry shampoo. "You can write anything you want." A sharp knock interrupted our moment. Margaret stood in the doorway, lips pursed. "Lily, dear, it's time for your piano lesson." "Emma, I'll take her today. You probably have work to do anyway." The way she said work made it sound like a character flaw. I bit back a retort, reminding myself that engaging would only make things worse. But Lily surprised us both. "Actually, Grandma, I want to stay home and write today. Mom's helping me with something important." Margaret's face darkened. "Writing? In that little book of yours? Lily, you need proper activities, not just scribbling all day. Your mother's letting you waste too much time on this nonsense." I felt Lily stiffen beside me. She clutched her journal tighter, and I saw something flash in her eyes. Determination, maybe even anger. "It's not nonsense," she said quietly but firmly. "I'm writing about Dad, about our family, about everything." Margaret stepped back as if she'd been slapped. "About everything." "Everything," Lily confirmed, meeting her grandmother's gaze steadily. I watched this exchange with a mixture of pride and concern. Lily had never stood up to her grandmother before, and I could see Margaret was rattled. "Well," Margaret recovered quickly, "I'm sure whatever you're writing is nice. But piano is more important for your future. Come along now." "No." Lily's voice was stronger now. "I'm staying here with Mom. We have work to do." Margaret turned to me, eyes blazing. "This is your influence, isn't it? Turning her against proper activities, against her family? I knew letting her stay with you was a mistake. Wait until everyone hears about this." She stormed out, her footsteps thundering down the stairs. Moments later, the front door slammed. Lily looked at me, worry creeping into her expression. "Are you mad at me, Mom?" I pulled her into a tight hug. "Never. I'm proud of you for standing up for what matters to you. Grandma's going to tell everyone I'm becoming difficult, isn't she? Like she tells them you're a bad mom." My heart clenched. I hadn't realized Lily knew about Margaret's rumors. "Probably," I admitted. "But the truth has a way of coming out eventually." Lily nodded, opening her journal again. "That's why I'm writing everything down. Every single thing, because somebody needs to tell her real story." Looking at her then, I saw something I hadn't noticed before. A strength that went beyond her 12 years, a determination to set things right in her own way. I had no idea then that her journal would change everything, that her words would reach far beyond our little family drama. I just knew that my daughter was finding her voice, and that was worth all the rumors Margaret could spread. "Keep writing, sweetheart," I told her. "Tell her story exactly the way you see it." And she did. Oh, how she did. 3 months after Lily's confrontation with Margaret, things had gotten worse. The rumors about my parenting spread like wildfire through the family and even into our small community. Margaret had always been influential in local social circles, and her words carried weight. "I heard she leaves Lily alone until midnight while she dates men online," one mom whispered at school pickup. "My cousin told me she spends all the insurance money on herself," another chimed in. I kept my head high, focusing on what mattered. Lily was thriving, despite or perhaps because of our unconventional life together. Every evening, we'd sit in our cozy living room, sharing stories about our day. She'd write in her journal while I worked on freelance articles, both of us comfortable in our quiet companionship. But one rainy Tuesday changed everything. "Mom." Lily burst into my home office, nearly tripping over her backpack. "Mrs. Peterson wants to talk to you." About my journal. I followed her downstairs where her English teacher waited. A tall woman with kind eyes, Mrs. Peterson had always supported Lily's writing. "Emma," she smiled warmly, "I hope you don't mind me stopping by. I had to show you something." She pulled out a literary magazine. I submitted one of Lily's journal entries to Young Writers Quarterly. With her permission, of course. My hands trembled as I opened the magazine to the marked page. There it was, Lily's letter to her dad about the sunflowers, printed in a national publication. "But that's not all," Mrs. Peterson continued. "The editor called me personally. They want to see more. They think Lily's journal could be a book." I sat down hard on the nearest chair. "A book? A real book, Mom?" Lily bounced with excitement. "About us? About everything." Everything. The word echoed in my mind. Every moment of grief, joy, and resilience we'd shared. Every subtle dig from Margaret, every whispered rumor, every triumph we'd celebrated quietly together. The editor believes Lily's perspective on losing a parent, gaining a stepmother, and navigating family dynamics could help other kids in similar situations. Mrs. Peterson explained. Her voice is extraordinary. That evening, after Mrs. Peterson left, Lily and I sat together reviewing her journal entries. Her words painted our life in vivid detail. The way we'd cook dinner together while dancing to David's old records, our weekend adventures exploring hiking trails, the quiet moments when grief caught up with us and we'd hold each other tight. She'd also written about Margaret's constant criticism, but not with anger. Instead, she described her grandmother's actions with a child's clear-eyed perception. "Grandma thinks love is like a pie, where giving some to one person means less for everyone else. But Mom taught me love is like a garden. The more you tend it, the more it grows." As we read, my phone buzzed repeatedly. News of the potential book deal had reached Margaret. "How dare you exploit my granddaughter for money?" Her text read. "This is exactly the kind of attention-seeking behavior we've come to expect from you." I showed the message to Lily, who took my hand. "Should we stop?" I asked her. "We don't have to do this if it's going to cause more problems." She shook her head firmly. "Remember what you always tell me? The truth matters. And this is our truth, Mom." Over the next few weeks, Lily worked with an editor to shape her journal entries into a cohesive narrative. She titled it Sunflowers for Dad, Letters from a Not-So-Broken Family. Margaret's campaign against us intensified. She called family meetings, which we weren't invited to, contacted school administrators with concerns about Lily being exploited, and even tried to consult a lawyer about stopping the publication. But Lily remained undeterred. Each attempt to silence her story only made her more determined to tell it. "You know what's funny, Mom?" she said one night as we reviewed the final manuscript. "Grandma thinks she's protecting our family's reputation, but she's really just scared of the truth." "What truth is that, sweetheart?" She looked up at me, her eyes wise beyond her years. "That family isn't about who you're born to. It's about who loves you enough to let you be yourself." The first advance copy of the book arrived on a sunny Saturday morning. Lily's hands shook as she opened the package, revealing a beautiful hardcover book with a sunflower on the cover. We sat together on the porch swing, turning pages in silence, both crying and laughing at the memories captured in her words. She told our story with such honesty and grace, acknowledging the pain of loss while celebrating the joy we'd found in building our new life together. The final chapter was a letter addressed to both David and me. "Dear Dad and Mom, sometimes people think because we're not a normal family, we must be broken. But we're not. Mom taught me that families are like your favorite sunflowers. They can grow in unexpected places, face whatever direction feels right, and still reach for the light." I hugged Lily close, overwhelmed with pride and love for this remarkable girl who'd found such a powerful way to stand up for our family. That evening, a car pulled into our driveway. Margaret stepped out, holding what looked like an advance copy of the book. Lily squeezed my hand. "Ready, Mom?" I nodded, knowing that whatever came next, we'd face it together. Just like we always had. Our not-so-broken family of two, standing strong in the light. Margaret stood at our door, the book clutched against her chest. Her usual mask of superiority had cracked, revealing something I'd never seen before. Uncertainty. "Can we talk?" she asked, her voice lacking its usual sharp edge. Lily stepped forward. "We can sit in the garden, Grandma, by the sunflowers." The three of us made our way to the wooden bench nestled among the towering yellow blooms. It was sunset, and the golden light caught the flowers just right, making them seem to glow from within. "I read it," Margaret said finally, running her hand over the book's cover. "All of it, twice." "And?" Lily's voice was steady, though I felt her hand slip into mine. Margaret paused, seeming to struggle with her words. "I never saw it this way, through your eyes." She opened the book to a marked page and began to read aloud. "Grandma brings fancy cookies to our house every Tuesday. She says Mom's homemade ones aren't good enough. But what she doesn't know is that Mom and I love baking together. Even when the cookies burn, we laugh and try again. Because sometimes the best memories taste like slightly burnt chocolate chips and endless second chances." I remembered that day clearly. Margaret had swept into our kitchen, taken one look at our misshapen cookies, and returned an hour later with a box from an expensive bakery. At the time, it had felt like just another criticism. But Lily had transformed it into something else entirely, a testament to the joy we found in our imperfect moments together. "There's more," Margaret continued, her voice wavering. She flipped to another page. "Mom keeps all of Dad's pictures up. Not because she's stuck in the past, like Grandma says, but because she knows memories aren't something to hide. They're part of our story, just like the new pictures we add every month are part of our story. Our walls are like a map of love, showing where we've been and where we're going." Tears rolled down Margaret's cheeks now, dropping onto the pages. I thought I was protecting Lily, protecting David's memory, but I was wrong, wasn't I? Lily reached out and took the book from her grandmother's hands. "You know what Dad used to say about the sunflowers, Grandma? That they're brave because they keep turning toward the light, even on cloudy days." "He did love these flowers," Margaret whispered. "He planted them every spring. And now Mom and I plant them," Lily said. "Not to replace him, but to remember him. Just like Mom didn't replace you in my life. She just gave me more love to grow with." The sound that escaped Margaret was somewhere between a laugh and a sob. "When did you get so wise, little one?" "Mom says I get it from Dad." Lily smiled. "But I think maybe I learn it from all of you, even from the hard stuff." Margaret turned to me then, her eyes red but clear. "Emma, I have been horrible to you. All these years I was so afraid of losing my connection to David, to Lily. I couldn't see that you were keeping his memory alive in the most beautiful way. By letting Lily be herself," I said softly. "By helping her write her own story." The book was already gaining attention. Early reviews praised its honest portrayal of grief, blended families, and the courage to stand up for one's truth. But sitting here, watching Margaret finally understand what Lily and I had built together, felt like the real victory. The book comes out next week, Lily told her grandmother. Will you come to the launch party? I'm doing a reading. Margaret looked surprised, then deeply moved. You'd want me there? After everything? You're part of our story too, Grandma. The hard parts and the good parts, they all matter. That evening, after Margaret left, Lily and I sat on the porch swing, watching the stars emerge. Do you think things will be different now? She asked. I think they already are, sweetheart. I kissed the top of her head. You've shown everyone that love isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. The book launch was held at our local library. The room was packed with family, friends, and members of the community who had once whispered behind our backs, but now listened intently as Lily read from her journal. Margaret sat in the front row, beaming with genuine pride. During the tea and a session, she stood up and addressed the crowd. My granddaughter and her mother have taught me that family isn't about who's right or wrong. It's about who stays and grows together through the hard times. Later, as we signed copies of the book, a young girl approached with her stepmom. Your story made me feel less alone, she told Lily. Less broken. Lily smiled and wrote a special message in her book. We're not broken, just growing in our own way, like sunflowers. That night, exhausted but happy, Lily and I added a new photo to our wall. One of the three of us at the book launch, Margaret's arm around me, all of us laughing at something now forgotten. It wasn't a perfect happy ending, but it was real. Our story still being written, one truth at a time. 6 months later, Sunflowers for Dad hit the bestseller list. But the real bestseller was The Change in Our Family. Margaret now came over to bake cookies with us, still slightly burnt. Shared stories about David without trying to own his memory, and learned to love our family for what it was rather than what she thought it should be. And every spring, we all plant sunflowers together, watching them grow toward the light, just like us.